situations like that in the past. It's, obviously, you want to control your own objective, making sure we get a week off no matter who we play. But it was nice to have that in the bag and then just see how the cards fell, with those two games. And knowing we're playing Sacramento, obviously, they're a great team. They've had an amazing season. And it's going to take everything to beat them 4 times, especially start on the road. But we love the opportunity in front of us.
Series against Sacramento, obviously there's a lot of limitational ties, 90 minutes apart. And what did that kind of lead to just in terms of excitement around?
That's more for everybody else. I think for us is understanding what it's going to take to beat them 4 times and, locking in on the task at hand. I think everything that we've been through this season, it's just nice to be, officially in the playoffs and, with a week to prepare and get our minds and bodies right for it. The narratives and the excitement and, the historical context of it all is just a part of, this time of year. And it's awesome to know that we're back in the fray and have an opportunity to go hopefully get off to a good start.
I feel like you guys are playing, get the record or beating or, wins and losses the last couple of weeks. Do you feel like the team is playing well enough to do well? Or, it seems like things are coming together in the sense that Andrew's about to come back, Gary's back in the fold, you guys are healthy. Does it feel like that for you?
Yeah, we know there's another level to get to, and we're going to have to if we're going to win at the highest level. But I think these last 2 games it's been weird because we played, teams that are out of the race, or Sacramento was resting all their guys, and Portland's out of the race. So the focus is just on how you're playing and what you do to take care of those games. And we've, I think, locked in on 2 things that for us are going to dictate how we go into the playoffs, and that's obviously taking care of the basketball and rebounding. I think our defense has been a lot better. Offensively, we have that high gear that we can get to. But the biggest adjustment really is just, like you said, the rotations, knowing Wiggs is hopefully coming back and he'll be ready hopefully for game 1. But we can hopefully rely on last year's success as like a template for how we need to play. It's just a matter of can we do it, and can we do it consistently? And I know we can.
Challenging is that, and we forget a starter back in without even one regular season. He's been gone 2 months essentially, and obviously you have some practice time period. But what's the challenge? What's the sort of unique obstacle of doing that? Because obviously unusual.
Yeah. We'll have a lot of decisions on what it looks like, but I went through it last year. I didn't miss as much time, but missed 4 some weeks with some change. And first game was game 1. There's a lot of adrenaline of, what the playoffs atmosphere brings. Wiggs is a extremely pivotal part of what we do and us reaching our highest ceiling. And the way that he plays, I think, is easily to integrate back in because, he guards. You can, have him out there defending whoever the primary scorer usually is. I don't know what his minutes will look like and all that. So that might be the biggest adjustment for him. But the rest of it is we have a certain system, a certain approach, and we've done it, in his absence. And I think he understands what it looks like when he's back out there. So to your point, practice time will be helpful and will be important for us to lock in, mentally on the game plan. But, I did it last year and came back, pretty spry those first couple of games. I don't know if, starter, bench, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of, everybody being on the same page. Uh, it's helpful. I don't know how much but it's helpful. 90-minute bus ride and get locked in on the road kind of routine. So, and even in between home and road start in game 2 and game 3, it's nice to be back in your beds pretty quickly. So it's helpful, but Draymond talked about on his podcast, it didn't really matter at the end of the day. Whoever we were going to play, we'd be able to adjust because we've been through it, but it is helpful.
Very short-handed tonight, but what does it do for the vibe of the team, going to the playoffs, see some shots go in, guys table, loose, lighthearted, and young players come off the bench late. What does that do for just the team vibe?
I think these last 2 games, knowing everybody's getting reps and, like you said, there's a feel-good vibe, that helps. You want to grind it out down the stretch against the lineup that they had out there. Like, nobody wanted to be in that kind of situation. But, yeah, for Moses to play 30 minutes, J.K. played 24, Gary 20, getting their legs underneath them before this week off and going into our practices so that everybody feels, a nice flow and get some game experience so that whatever the expectations or what you're asked to do going into a series, everybody's ready. That definitely helps. And you want to have as least a stressful path to, the start of the playoffs as possible. So we accomplished that.
There's nothing new, but as people remember really what happened in the playoffs. They kind of then forget the long 6-month journey to get there, right? Does this feel like a fresh start? Or I guess what I'm saying is this team's going to be remembered for what happens the next few weeks, not what's happened the last 6 months.
Yeah, that's because of what we've accomplished, and there's an expectation that, we're built to win in the postseason, and we've done it, and that's the reputation that we love to have. But it's not easy getting through an 82-game schedule. And, year after year, no matter what seed you are, just, getting there, because especially as the defending champs, we've gotten everybody's best punch every night. So, we carried a lot. It was an emotional roller coaster all year. Had some really disappointing losses, had some big wins, obviously our road troubles and all that, but now it's time to just lay it out on the line in another playoff series that we thrive on. So that's who we are. That's, again, the expectations that we have for ourselves, and, there's an excitement that comes with that.
This season feel more tumultuous than past?
We'll talk about that at the end of the year.